Hello guys and welcome back, and today we'll talk about some really big news which I'm sure all of you have heard, and that's the fact that the Christmas special for Doctor Who is cancelled and that Doctor Who is no longer working with Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf Studios. Now this is quite big news. Of course, the Christmas special, I remember doing the video where I was discussing how exciting it was that we were going to get a Christmas special, and since then I've been really looking forward to it, because no matter how vague the future of Doctor Who's been all these last few months with the Billie Piper and everything, it's really good to know that we had the Christmas special coming. Now, of course, it's been cancelled, although, according to Russell T Davies, there never was a script. It was never written. Nobody had sort of been approached to be the next Doctor, so it's crazy. There's a lot of contradictions out there. I could probably be here all day with the contradictions, but according to that post that Russell T Davies just put out, there was never any script, although other things say differently. So it's quite crazy to announce a Christmas special and then to say that it's not happening, or to, as he said, to secure it and then not do it. It feels, it's bizarre. It's quite crazy, really. It's quite big news as well. The fact that the BBC are also lending it out to tender as well, sort of like they're basically trying to find another partner for it, is interesting. I can see why they're doing it, because obviously they want to put lots of money into it. However, if you think back to The Power of the Doctor, I thought it looked quite good then, or Series 13 with the Flux, I still thought it looked really good, and that holds up till today. So I feel like the BBC probably could make it on their own, but obviously they're not going to. So for the news, a lot of people have taken this quite badly. You know, I personally still feel quite positive about it, to be honest. I wouldn't say that it's the end of the world. I wouldn't say it's the Wilderness Years 2.0. I personally feel like, you know, the BBC is still trying with Doctor Who. They're still looking for, you know, somebody to partner with. The only concern I have is how long it's going to be. You know, is this going to take a year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe even longer? That's quite concerning. I'd like to hope the BBC really push for this. You know, Russ has always said that they're so behind Doctor Who and all of that. So I'd really like to hope that they're pushing for it, but really there's no guarantees here, even if they do push for it. So I try not to think about that, because that's, you know, not always the best thought to think of about that, to be honest. So that's not what I'm looking at. I'm just trying to think of, you know, positive, that they're still trying to continue it. But it's just mad, and it occurred to me earlier on in the day that now it's cancelled. Yeah, we're never going to probably get the answer to Billie Piper. I doubt whoever's going to take on Doctor Who will continue that. But also, you know, I thought about the boss. You know, I was really looking forward to finding out who the boss is, you know, and their connection to Rogue, Meep and Anita. We're never going to see it on screen. It'd be great to sort of know in the future who the boss was, but we're never going to get the answer to that. All that stuff with Susan as well, we're never getting the answer to that either. Rogue reappeared in Wishworld, never getting an answer to that, or the Doctor ever finding him. So there's a lot of things, a lot of loose threads, which are probably never going to be tied up. And I thought to myself, what would have been really good is if Russell T Davies actually got Disney to do 3 series instead of 2, because I feel like then you could have wrapped up the Susan stuff. You know, if the Daleks were coming back, Ncuti could have met the Daleks, and you could have just tied up the boss as well. You know, the boss could have been sort of Ncuti's like big ending episode, or if not, the Daleks could have been, and the boss could have been something else, or the boss could have been related to the Daleks. You know, you could have wrapped it up quite well. I would imagine Russell T Davies was hopefully, I'm sure he was, trying to push for as many series out of Disney as he could get. Maybe they would have given him three series. However, because he wanted to do the spin-off, they said, okay, have 2 and then have the spin-off. Which, you know, I don't know how I feel about. I do like The War Between the Lands of the Sea, but it would have been great to wrap up 15's era, really. So it's just disappointing in a sense. I'm still getting my thoughts together, because it's still quite, you know, a shock. You know, the update was probably not what we were hoping for. In a way, though, I'm glad that they've announced this as well, because there were so many rumours going about the Christmas special. It had already been filmed in secret. David Tennant's coming back, and Billie Piper, you know, this, that and the other. There was just so much going on, and, you know, the Sun reporting this and all of that. Sometimes it's great, just even if it's not the best news, it's great to actually have stuff confirmed, and then it just puts to bed all of those rumours. And it's great to see all the leaks that have turned out not to be true, you know. So, yeah, in terms of that, it's great to have sort of solid information on it. although it's probably not the best thing, I'm trying to stay hopeful. Mind you, I was quite hopeful about when Shooty regenerated into Billie Piper, you know, and all of that, which I still, you know, it was quite exciting to see that happen, although probably nothing's ever going to come of that, which is quite a shame. It would have been great to have an answer. I really would have thought Billie Piper would have been great as the 16th Doctor. I didn't think she was going to be. I don't know if I did at the beginning, but as time went on, I thought, okay, she's probably just going to be sort of like an appearance, or, you know, it's going to be some sort of cameo, or just for one episode like the Christmas special, and that was it. So who knows? And I'm not going to try and speculate on what's actually happened, because, you know, there's all that stuff about Shooty's real reason for leaving. There's all this stuff about, you know, Billie Piper, T Davies, you know. And as someone pointed out, they reshooted the reality war. Now, they could have actually probably originally kept the ending, because either way, with how we saw the reality war, or the original ending with Susan and Poppy, either way, there's going to be threads that aren't being tied up. So maybe T Davies did actually think that, you know, there was a future after the reality war. Maybe they were looking for a partnership with somebody else and they just couldn't find it. It just definitely feels, you know, first you had Shooty leave all of a sudden, now you've got T Davies leave all of a sudden. And while I wouldn't say the Disney era was a failure, I really enjoyed it. I really liked 15, Ruby, Belinda, all of that. The 60th anniversary specials on a whole were quite good. It does feel a bit like, you know, we were promised so much, and then we didn't get a lot in the end. You know, Russell T Davies promised that there'd be lots of content, you know, Doctor Who every year, lots of spin-offs, and really there was one spin-off, 2 series, and that was about it, really, plus Tales of the TARDIS. So I feel like there's been a lot of promises and we've been let down. It's also quite difficult as well to know what to believe anymore, in a way, because whilst the BBC, again, and I still feel quite positive about it, whilst the BBC have said, you know, they're looking to tender out Doctor Who, and Rusty have said it's a new exciting future, and this, that and the other. We were promised a Christmas special that was never coming. Was it ever coming? I don't know, but it's definitely not coming now. But, you know, and Russ Davies said a lot of things, you know, he said that season 3 was written, and then, you know, the Christmas special was written, and it's just, it's a lot, it's really a lot. So again, I'm not going to go into the speculation of what's happened, what hasn't, because who knows really. All that we do know is that Rusty Davies and Bad Wolf are no longer working with the BBC to make Doctor Who, and that there is no Christmas special, which again is really disappointing, because I was really looking forward to it. I was starting to wonder, you know, is it actually going to be coming out anyway, because there wasn't really anything about filming. Of course, there wasn't anything about filming because it wasn't happening. So, you know, it is crazy. So it's quite difficult to sum up your thoughts. I'd be really interested to hear what you guys think of all of this, really. But I feel like Rusty Davies has also, in a way, ruined his reputation. I think his first era, he was held so highly. People always wanted him back, you know. When it was announced he was the showrunner, before the Flux even came out, you know, people were so excited. I remember when I read it, I was so excited. I wonder how people sort of feel now. I feel like people's, not respect, but just people's thoughts on him in general have dipped. I feel like he has ruined his reputation in a way. I do feel like it's probably best that he steps away. Again, I really enjoyed the whole era, but it just, I don't know, towards the end, I don't know, I feel like it's best we sort of draw a line, you know, over it and just sort of move on. Again, you know, it'd be great in 6 months, a year, we hear that there's you know, they're working with a different company and Doctor's coming back and all of this, but I just feel like, whilst not forgetting 15 in his era, I feel like we should forget all of this Disney stuff, and not Russell T Davies, but the whole era, in a way. It's just, it's crazy, really. And then a lot of people have said, you know, how long till Doctor Who, and people who make content of Doctor Who like myself, you know, what are they going to do? I mean, I've had 6 months away anyway. I've been meaning to come back to this channel. I thought about it nearly every day, of doing a video of this, that and the other, but I just haven't got around to it. But when this news broke, I thought I have to, you know, because I still really enjoy making these videos. But I've sort of stepped away for a bit, you know, between the end of the war between the land and the sea, and now, you know, there's been lots of rumours, but there hasn't really been any news, really. So I've used that time to sort of have a break from this, and sort of I've been really diving into my classic Doctor Who. Last year I ended on the ending with Leela and the Fourth Doctor, and since then I've finished the Fourth Doctor's era, finished the Fifth Doctor's era, and just last night I finished Vengeance of Varos, I believe it's called. Yeah, Vengeance of Varus, that's it. So, yeah, so I'm concentrating on that. Again, I'd love to get back into the YouTube and do videos. Just recently, I've realised that I've been a fan of Doctor Who for 20 years now, which is quite good. I wanted to do a video on that. I might still do that. I also watched an episode I hadn't actually ever seen of New Who, which came out about 12 years ago. So I wanted to do a video about that as well. There's been a couple of things where I've wanted to do a video on, but I just haven't got around to it. But I thought, with this big news, it's quite big, you know, and now we don't really know what's going on. Again, I just hope, and I have the confidence that the BBC do care about Doctor Who. It's not like the 80s where they were trying to, you know, the higher-ups were trying to bin it off. I feel like, you know, they know Doctor Who makes a lot of money, it's very popular, and I feel like they will want to bring it back. And it's probably good in a way that we're going to have a rest, really. And then it sort of gets brought back. I feel like Doctor Who's been dragged through the mud quite a bit as well recently. So, yeah, it's just all over the place. It's quite crazy, like, how things have ended and all these rumours and everything. I'd like to hear the truth actually come out. I'd like sort of the cards on the table, so to speak, and actually hear what actually happened, what was the plan, and them just sort of own up the rewrite of the reality war and what really went on, really. I'd be really interested to see, because I feel like they've had plans and they've been ruined, you know. I really feel like, you know, Russ Davies did expect Disney to do another season, and then when they cancelled it, he rewrote it and had a plan, you know, to move on and continue Doctor Who, and then obviously something's happened there and they've had to, you know, move on again. So I really would like to know. I think it's really interesting as well, you know, although I don't want to speculate. I think the speculation is quite interesting, just to see and to speculate what really happened. I would love to know what's happened behind the scenes, really, and I hope one day we do find out the answers to all of this. But yeah, so the news is that there's no Christmas special, and at the moment Doctor Who is on a bit of a hiatus till they can find, you know, people to do it. So it's crazy, really. I feel like this video has sort of just been me rambling, because in a way I don't know what to say, but I just feel like I had to mark it, really, and I just wanted to put this video out to hear your guys' thoughts. You know, I'd love to know what you think of all of this, really. And yeah, I think tonight I'm just going to be watching videos, you know, seeing what people are saying, and just getting the general gist of how people feel, really, because it's crazy. But yeah, I'm just going to sort of see what people say and just sort of get my thoughts together, really. But that is the news, so there we go. Like I've asked, I'd love to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed getting back into the videos, and I hope to try and make some more soon. Again, I haven't forgot about this channel. I've just been focusing on other stuff, really. You know, I've had a different job since my last video and all sorts. So yeah, there's a lot been going on in my personal life as well. But I always enjoy making these videos. It's great to be back. And yeah, hopefully make another video soon. It'd be great to eventually make a video where there's news announced that, you know, the BBC have found someone, but who knows how long till that will be. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully see you in my next video soon. Thank you for watching, and take care.